looking for an opponent again, and this time it's a no-komi game against a 2-den. I will try to mirror my opponent a little bit in the opening. Why not? I mean, with the AI, you don't have as much fancy opening theory as before. People just follow the AI at the pro level. Well, if you play there, then it's not so interesting maybe for me to... Yeah, it's probably more interesting if... I mean, I could approach here, but with this extra stone, I'm more nervous to do so. I may well invade around here later, depending on what happens on this side. This is another move that only became popular with AI. I think it works fairly well in this position. Maybe I should have extended into the corner. Then again, maybe not. The Hane implies that I'm trying to press this from the outside. If I extend into the corner, then I might be trying to invade instead. Right, the move here is to push, especially when there's a Moyo. This stone is a bit far away, so I think I can probably cut. Though Hane might still be proper. I'm not sure about my moves there. Okay, I have to say that that is a very strange shape. Mainly because of the Atari and distend. Okay, I have to think about what agi there is in this position. Because if there's nothing inside here, then... And that is a very daring Hane, in my opinion. I don't think I can easily afford to Hane again, because then this area does get too big. So I should be aiming at the cut. But I also have to be frightened that Black Extended threatens my own cutting points. Probably I should just Atari and see what happens. If I extend, Black can go for an exchange with this sort of move. And then attach. So extending is not necessarily best. Even though it's certainly like a shape point. Not really sure what I'm trying to do here, but at the very least, if Black doesn't add another move, I can get endgame in on this side. But what I really am aiming at is this sort of cut. So it's not easy to save these white stones. After all, white has already gotten a lot of influence on this side. However, okay, I think that should let me save them pretty much, because the corner's not cleanly alive. I think that's a big mistake. Then again, my own shape is very bad, so maybe it's not a mistake. Okay, I mean, I have a lot of cutting points. My shape is pretty bad. So this should be forcing. Then it should give me time to defend my own shape. Or rather, it gives me time to defend how to work out how exactly I should be defending my own shape. I could attach. Does seem to make black unreasonably solid though. I think this would be the proper move. Okay, this is nice. Yeah, I'm not sure I lived that well here. I feel like I kind of need to defend the cutting point. Because if white cuts here, if black cuts here, I have to play here. It's also very tempting to try to cut through in this shape. Basically, there's this cutting point which I'd really like to utilize somehow. Okay, so high approach is probably better than low approach in this position. Because if I low approach, then just living on the right conflicts with my life here. Whereas this way around, I have a chance. I have a chance to cut here, which is much better than trying to connect underneath. If black cuts here, I can't see a better way to deal with the problem than just sacrificing these two stones. Interesting. I think I have some shape problems right now. Maybe connecting isn't proper. I already have the ladder, so I could go for this. I mean, it does look very risky. Okay, I'll try connecting. I think the threat of going into the corner is too big. I really thought that black was going to do something about the threat. Okay, this is a ladder breaker as well. Is that what black is saying? It, okay, then this is a counter ladder breaker. I admit my position doesn't look great. Okay, well then this is a serious problem. I need to worry that this group isn't 100% live now, because I think there's some liberty issues. However, for the time being, I think these two stones, after this exchange, these two stones are seriously vulnerable. Even if black adds another move, it's quite awkward. Okay, so the problem for black now is that this connection is center-inless, which means that I can cut, I think. Okay, now I think this group is well and truly 100% alive. And I can... no, I can't ladder this stone. If I Atari, then this becomes a ladder. Okay, black has just played an attacking move, so I need to be careful. Natural move is just to clamp first. At the moment, black can only connect, I think. Every other move is going to lead to death. Now black could push. And then push again. Okay, in that case I can get this extra 2, well, around 1 point. I can't cut here. If I Atari first, I might be able to cut. Right. So, I mean, just it's always nice to capture a stone cleanly. But I also have to be worried that black is going to cut here. I think... this is always the shape point, even though it looks a little bit ugly. Because it looks like I'm playing from inside. Okay, so I can honey here in order to capture the stone. And then just see what black does. Black could play here, but it doesn't have to. And I can play here, but I don't have to as well. I mean, I might be able to use the Kasumi for a ko later. I can push. There's various Ataris here, but they don't do anything at the moment. This looks like quite a nice invasion point. On the third line it makes sense. I think black could have played more aggressively. Probably around this peep. It's definitely natural for me to defend somehow. Just don't know how solidly I need to defend. I'm probably going to have to add another move later. Probably the best combination is to just do this one space jump if black invades. If black cuts, I get the feeling that I still have to push from this side. Not sure really if I can afford to try to ladder. This result is already ridiculously good for white. Black has been reduced to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points in the corner. This is quite low. In fact, I have a kind of a Tsuji here, don't I? I can Kasumi and jump. Okay, normally you don't block this side because when black crawls, then you can't even hunt it because you get cut. If you extend, then that's perfect shape for black. Okay, so for sure I'm blocking this side, and then I need to decide if I can dare to jump here. I probably don't dare. If white honey connect. The problem with this way of playing is that I can turn. Yes, you can Kasumi to connect underneath, but is it really good? If I can seal off the center. I already got something on this side. Black has to watch out that black's not completely alive. Did I misread this? Okay, I have to pull back. I'm not that unhappy with my shape because the shape was already very bad before. At least this way I'm making some points. Okay. You know, if black cuts, I'm still not sure if I can get away from this side. Okay, I have to defend. I think this exchange seems normal, and then black can probably honey. Okay, black is certainly the one with center strength, but black has to be careful that this group is not alive. Black has one eye. Oh, is that why black doesn't double honey? Because black is scared that I'll just capture the stone. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I don't think I'm in a state where I can go for the kill on this group. Even if I had a move around here. But it's still definitely something I should keep in mind. I need to add another move here very soon. Okay, the key point is this. If I just descend, then black is going to attach here or shoulder hit. This area will evaporate. I think the proper move may be to jump. Then it's still not good shape at all. Okay. I'll just submit here. I accept that black is quite solid around here. I'm the one with all the cutting points. I probably misplayed this somehow. I think I shouldn't have let black Kasumi. I should have just reinforced and tried to take the top area. Now that black has gone into the top area, it has been drastically reduced. Okay, anyway, black has 1, 2, 5 points. Seven. Other than those 5 points, around 25 points on the rest of the board. That's really nothing, so that's 30 points in total. 1, 2, 3, 4-ish, 5, 6. I think I can count around 40 points already for white, even without counting this area. Okay, so my feeling is that I should push, and then aim at this invasion. Or maybe I should just accept connection. Okay, I'll try to accept connection. Okay, firstly I'll capture this stone. I don't need to connect to this stone just yet. Now that is a very fancy move. I'm worried about the double honey here because capturing the stone is pretty big. Of course I haven't captured it yet, but I should try. I look at this shape and I just think there's a cutting point. Okay, I should play this exchange, otherwise I'll never get it, because these two stones will die. Now this is connected. Jumping is big, but then it sort of gives away some of my attack, which is painful. I want to do something about this area, and I think this is the standard move. The fact that white is fairly solid now means that I can probably get away with this. Okay, this just means that I will push up. I think black should have connected, because that would cleanly save this stone as well. This way around, black is weak on both sides. So I'm threatening the cut. So you can't honey, I think. Okay, you can play. Even just connecting for me underneath is very, very big. And black has to be scared that me pushing here is frightening, because these two stones are at risk. Okay, I mean, turning is a bit of shape, but I think it's unnecessary. Can I get away with trying to kill the whole thing? I think I can't. Okay, I'm not sure this is really the biggest move, but I just wanted to cleanly save my group. Black has to watch out for this clamp. Ooh, ooh, summer love, living in a wild, dreams in love. Oh, Still very big to jump, because otherwise I have some short liberties with this wedge. Okay, I'll try this. If black blocks, then I can still press her. It's fairly big. If black does this, it's quite a nice move actually to disconnect. Okay, maybe I have to play here. ugly. Sometimes, if I play here, then when black plays here, I get disconnected. So just poke out the shape point first. Depending on what black does, I might even get to block here. So if so, then I won't even need to worry about the monkey jump. Okay, then I can just push through here. Maybe black is thinking that this white group isn't alive. I think it's alive. Ah, just played a bad move, didn't I? Maybe it's not that bad. Basically, as long as I can get this Kasumi, it'll be fine. Actually, if I push and then turn, it's still very awkward for black to deal with. Okay, I mean, this Kasumi is getting very big. That seems very Goto to me. Left is very solidly connected. Okay, this is getting quite big, because black can always clamp. Hunting connect is big, but it's not Sente. This, just capturing the stone, seems to be pretty big. It's essentially Sente. Now, is there something I can do to attack this area? My instinct is to push and squeeze. Obviously I have to worry that I don't make sure I don't die with this group. Right. Interesting move. Okay, I think I've reduced black to the minimum possible points. Now I just need to make this group alive. Respecting the fact that black honey and connect is very big. Okay, maybe there's nothing better than just defending solidly. And to deal with this area, maybe I should just hunting. I think that's the biggest move. Aha, now that does seem to be forcing. Maybe I should have wedged. No, I think this is still the proper move, because otherwise black will play here. Now Hane is getting very big because it's completely sente for me to play. So I think black should play either here or here. Descending is very big also. There's a Tsuji here, which probably get some profit. So if white plays here, that sets up a follow-up because I can push, and so on. Did not expect that. Hana is the obvious move. I first get to capture quite a lot of points here, and then I'll get to capture these. Not sure about this move. It will make a difference depending on what happens around here. If I get this endgame, then it won't make any difference which move I play here. I mean, this move is Sente 3 points. It's not as big as this, and it's not as big as this. I think this move is bigger than this, but I'm not actually sure. I think I should. No, Honey doesn't help because I'm not connected. Basically, this white group will have to pay because there's this cutting point. So the only way for me to make it not pay is to play there myself. Actually, descending is the better endgame. Descend. Okay, now if descend is good, then yeah. Okay, that's your 3-point Sente. I have to respond. Oh, I forgot about this one. That's huge. It's probably bigger than any of the ones I mentioned. The reason is I still can monkey jump here, and then black doesn't even have one eye. As in black doesn't have an eye, so therefore there's some payment. This move, obviously there's a possible ko, but I don't see many ko threats. Is this even a ko threat? Not clear. Black can push. I suspect that black can actually win the ko. Right. So at this point, this move is fairly big. This move is probably bigger though. I think biggest of all is this one. Honey is better than descending, because if you descend, then you haven't defended against the honey and connector. Whereas if you honey, and even if you tanuki and black captures, then you still have this tiger mouth shape, which allows you to defend against black's endgame on the first line. In this case, it's slightly different because white's not connected. So, but honey is always better, unless you absolutely want center. Actually, in this case, descending is center. Any guess, honey is going to be better. Okay, let's review that quickly. I don't think this is a normal move. I think it's more normal to play around here, or to approach, or even to play here. I think even this is possible. It's certainly unusual. I wasn't sure if I should go into 3-3 or not, but I ended up playing for a Moyo game. And these days there's this popular option as well. Sorry, that's probably not the best move. And then there's moves such as this. Just to build the right side. In this particular position, I'd be very scared to do this as black because there seem to be serious holes in the position. So I mean, like, if white enters around here, it gets very scary. Yeah, this is all normal. Hane is normal. I think this is all normal. I think normally you pull back. I don't know what the follow-up is. I think it's just pushing all the way. But in this position, you can understand why black didn't want to play like this, especially as there's still various agi to enter this area. Certainly the shape is not tiger mouth. You push again and you can make this tiger mouth if you want, but I think the solid connection is normal. Maybe since you have a moyo, it's not unreasonable to keep pushing. I don't know at what point white dares to honey. This is very scary. But like this, I accept that white can't play here immediately, but white can very efficiently reduce from the outside. Even locally, this is already getting pushed around, and even simply because black has to keep responding to everything, and white is getting stuff on the outside. Me trying to make life here might have been a little bit hasty. I mean, I have this sort of push, this sort of agi. I wasn't sure if I should play like this though. I mean, I think it looks okay for white. I probably should have played like this. Trying to save the stone is too much when I still have a cutting point here. And like this, I think black should cut. I know the shape is bad, but it works to live. And actually, white has some life and death issues. At the very least, black can play like this. Let me just look at this. Locally, it's not alive, but the outside is probably going to fall apart. So I think I probably don't have the right to play here. But if I don't play there, where else do I play? I have to play here. And then that's also very painful. I think this is alive. Okay. Okay. And this is not really very good shape. Maybe I should have still gone for this sort of shape. It's just it doesn't seem right either. There's various problems. But this certainly strikes at some more weaknesses in the centre. This still leaves this move, which is not great. I think me approaching here makes sense because black already has some solid shape here. You don't want to get too close to it, so just take out the weaker stone. Black pulling back, that's interesting. Maybe I should have just gone for this, but the problem is that black can seal everything off. And it is actually very efficient because white's not completely alive yet. I was quite ambitious with this group. Maybe Wedger gets better. Like this, it's very hard to kill white because white has such a solid shape. Probably you need to defend the cut somehow. Something like this. And I mean, there's the double honey already. It's very difficult. This is probably helpful exchange for black, this honey. Because for the time being, since white is not alive, white needs to be very careful. However, I don't think there's much chance of killing this white. After this, it gets terrible though. I think you have to do something like this. Problem with playing like this is that these are forcing moves, and this will get captured. Actually, this doesn't get captured. You know, if it doesn't get captured, then it's okay because this shape is vulnerable, but I guess white is completely alive, so it's not really a big deal. This is good for white for sure. Yeah, but still, I don't think you can't Atari like in the game. How do you play this move? No, I think this is still the shape. Just yeah, I think this is the best black can do because at least black gets this big move, and that damages the right side a lot. I guess what black should do is just stop at this point. Even though white is 100% alive already, there's still some shortage of liberties on the outside. So black can just continue something similar to the game. What did black do in the game? The black's shape in the game was just terrible. And you have to play here. Later you can still honey. So you can honey and then honey, and this is white death. So therefore white has to play like this, and then like this, and you might even have the chance of playing for a ko with this move. In this context, I guess Black Sataria and Connection might actually be a very powerful move. And this is still a normal way to play. I suppose what that means is when black connects, white can't afford to connect. White has to play her. Okay, so this move after this, black doesn't have an eye here. Black's shape is terrible. Black has not many liberties. and white has gotten several extra points. White still has some problems with shape, but just managing to live is already a huge success. Okay, so I think there must have been something better. I think this is the way to start. This is why I shouldn't have connected, because the shape is bad. Like, if I try to counterattack, it gets very risky very quickly. And this is just a disaster for white. So white has to defend the cut. The standard way would be to play here. Maybe cut. No, I think that there's this cutting point as well, so this looks impossible. Maybe it's not completely impossible. I guess white can connect here. This is actually not a complete disaster for white. Because you can play here and then play in the center, but it's still very bad for white. So if you can't do that, then you have to play this one instead. But just cut is probably good enough. This is very bad shape for black. For white, I mean. And if you can't do that, then you have to pull back. But then this is certainly black attacking white. I shouldn't have let this happen. Okay, so given all of that, maybe I have to play here. Yeah, this looks a lot better. So even if that doesn't work, then you can still play here. And this is still the vital point to attack. I don't think white can play like this. I think white has to defend. And then you get the shape point. That lives very cleanly. This way around, it doesn't live so cleanly. I think you should still be trying to play on the weaknesses here. And just live. This move, maybe not so good. I should have played here. And just probably done this. Even just jumping is probably better. Because I can still attack the black group. In the game I did something very overconfident, probably. Black managing to live in Sente is not acceptable. Yeah, this was very annoying, because black is going to have all the ladders, so you can't really do anything. And this is probably... This would be too much territory to give up as well. So. And playing like this, it seems to just be letting black get the good direction. But then, actually, maybe this is still better than what I did in the game, because I get this key point. Maybe. What I did in the game got solid points though. Right, this looks normal, and this is surely the normal move. Then something like this. And then, I don't know if you're able to go in quite deep. Black shape isn't very good. what I was expecting here with this sequence. The thing is, I'm not even sure if this really works for what. Because this seems to be forcing. So, is this really able to live? It looks difficult. This is letting me off a little bit because as soon as I get this honey tiger mouth, I can connect or cut. And similarly here, the shape is already broken for black. It's completely split shape. I just need to make sure I don't die. I think it's very big for black to add another move here. I just Kasumi and then black can still monkey jump. There's still some bad agi in this area as well. Of course black shouldn't really be playing all these moves either. I can go down without too much problem. I mean, this Atari you just connect, this Atari you just Atari and Atari and Atari. I think that's good enough for black. The problem with this shape is that there's still more problems in black's shape. This jump is just a bad move. This is inexplicable as well. I think black can get away with playing here. And then I can play here. I can live, I think, but it's not very clean. Okay, this doesn't live. I have to be more accurate than that. And this lives, but it lives with only a few points. And it's lost a lot of endgame on the side of the board as well. Anyway, black should have done more there. Black should also have Atari'd earlier. And this exposes the cutting point, which means black has to play this, which isn't very many points. It's a bad exchange with this move. If I don't do that, then I'm just dead. I have 3 liberties, black has 4 liberties. Cut. This seems questionable, but I suppose it was fairly big. But you've already given up how many points? 1, 2, let's say 3. Alright, around 10 points. Just to get this in Go 2. Is it really worth it? Here, white has been reduced by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points. Where black could have gotten several points here as well, so it's probably white has been reduced by around 6 or 7 points. And then black has also managed to get an extra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe another 9 points here. I mean, it is certainly much bigger than this. It's certainly worth the move. Maybe it gains up to 10 points. This is a nice endgame move. I didn't notice it immediately. Now that I look at it, I suspect that black can fight this ko, and as long as black can win the ko, then black makes a significant gain locally. I mean, where is there a ko threat? Even this isn't necessarily a ko threat. Probably is a ko threat. What's come white to play? Black is so solid that there are no ko threats. You have to connect. Yeah, I know it's the correct endgame. And that was the end of the game. Probably what should happen next? I think you can play like this. I don't know, is connecting the biggest? Okay, then this is probably biggest. Like this or something. I'm just guessing here. Okay, that was actually pretty big. Probably black should have defended. White plays this. Let's hope black gets this. This doesn't work as an endgame move. White can play here. Oops. This move would make 3 points. This move would make a bit more than that. This move is probably quite natural. Three points is bigger at this stage. Probably black should have exchanged that earlier. Okay, so 14.5 points difference. The 3-stone handicaps is about 35 points difference. So that makes sense. Okay.